Hello and welcome to Harvender Gaming. My name is Warrior and this is episode 21 of my Let's Play Tyranny series. The last episode was a crazy one. We ended the Edict of Storms, but at the cost of killing a child. To be specific, Amelia's child. The grandson or daughter, I think it was daughter, of Graven Ashe. Amelia, that is, had decided to forego her loyalties and had a baby with the regent. And yeah, the bloodline continued, so the Edict of Storms could not end. We then killed Amelia and killed her baby, and the edict is now done. So, without further ado, let's see what has become of our characters. I have a feeling that Graven Ashe is going to have something to say about that. Alright, let's look. Disfavored, we've got the Wrath of Disfavored. So, Undying Fatebinder, shielded for 40 damage for 30 seconds. That looks like a bloody good skill to have. So let's put this on. No, wait, where are we? Favor of the Fatebinder. Got to be around here somewhere. Yeah. Drain strength. Favor of the Fatebinder. Allied but not stealth. Yeah, we got a new one. Oh, it's passive. Once per combat, gain a damage absorption shield for a short time if you fall to low health. Okay, so it's passive. Sorry, my bad. Okay, that's cool. With Sentinel Stand now under disfavored control, return to Ironhearth to discuss your next move with Graven Ashe. Yeah, that's going to be a fun conversation. I have no
got it.
Alright. Sentinel Stand is ours, yes. We have a Rust Charm. Entropic. Plus one armor penetrated by attacks when inflicting crits. This chunk of iron was once an impressive item, but prolonged exposure to the Edict of Storms has since worn it down to an unrecognizable nub. Alright, we're going to take that and we're going to put it on... You know what? Let's take off the Jewel of Good Fortune. Let's give Warrior one armor, and we're going to give the jewel to Verse. That sounds like a good plan to me. Alright. And we've got a jewelry box
all in the reflexes.
With a turquoise and a negate. And then a gate. And then there is one person here that we can loot for the whetstone. Because if we don't loot everything, Aaron is going to tell me that I missed looting something. And we don't want that. As much as Aaron filling me in on missed loot is a good thing, I have recorded 3 episodes in one day, so it's kind of hard to go back and grab loot if I have missed something. So, anyway, Rumelan, the keep is safe in our hands. Repairs are already underway. Alright. Disfavored, now control the keep. Ash will want to hear about what we've accomplished here. I'll hang back and oversee repairs of the defences. Yes. Alright. There's nothing more for us to grab. There doesn't even seem to be anyone to talk to other than the guy that we were just talking to. So, let's come down here and get the fuck out of Dodge. The athletic skill can be used to intimidate characters. Alright. Let's come down here because it's telling us that we've missed looting something. That's what this little symbol here is. So we'll get the guys to run down here and speed up. Alright. Cool. Right there. We missed something right there. And that is some unbroken armor and an unbroken shield. Cool. Okay, so we are going back to Iron Hearth. Mountain Spire, Sunset Spire. Let's go back to Iron Hearth. And we're getting there at almost midnight. How's everyone's week going? Or weekend going? This will be coming out on a Saturday, so I hope you're all having a good weekend. I hope you're all having a good time. Whatever time you are watching this. Alright, let's not gild the lily. Let's go straight up and talk to Graven Ashe. And see what he thinks of us killing his daughter. Graven Ashe, the great keep of Sentinel Stand is ours. Oh, how I will relish tearing down every vestige of the unbroken and burying the standard of that corrupt realm. This is a great victory for the disfavored. Yes, it is. What's more, we are delivered from the Edict of Storms. My runners speak of you in glowing terms, though I instructed them specifically not to report on your deeds in too much detail. I wanted to hear it from no one but the source. I would know more about how it felt to stand in the center of the storm as the Overlord's magic dissolved around you. You must be weary from your travels. I am eager to hear your account, but I will understand if you still need to gather your thoughts. This is a joyous day, and I wouldn't spoil it with impatience. Let's go over my success. I claimed the mighty Ocean Spire. Let's talk about Amelia. Let's get straight to the point. Let's talk about Amelia. My Amelia, I can no longer sense her presence and have anticipated the worst since you returned from Sentinel Stand. As a general, I can be cautious, but only as a father can I know fear. Ashe clenches his hands into tight fists at his side. Say what you would then. She had a daughter with Stratus the Younger, the Regent's son. Okay, so it was Stratus, it was Stratus the Younger, so it was the grandson of Stratus. She bridged the gap between the North and South by mothering a female heir. She redefined sedition by birthing the next regent of Stalwart. She had a daughter with Stratus the Younger, the regent's son. Aye, what are you saying, Fatebinder? My Amelia is too noble to lay with a southern wretch, much less willingly bear his polluted offspring. No, this is some fabrication, a joke at my expense. I cannot. Ashe squeezes his eyes shut and shakes his head vigorously. No. The very idea repulses me beyond all measure. And you, Fatebinder, he bears down on you with madness in his eyes. If you would bring slander and atrocity to this fort, then I will instruct Tunon to strike your head from your lawful neck. Do you hear me? He bellows with such force that spittle wets his beard, and the cohorts of the training yard turn with panic in their eyes. Ashe cuts off his speech and holds his rigid posture. Throughout the prolonged silence, you are sure if he plans on you aren't sure if he plans on swinging his mace in a wide arc or simply exploding from the tension he fights to repress. A vein rises along the crest of his scalp and slowly recedes as Ashe calms his breathing. Verse. I'm just going to back away and let you handle this one. Don't mind me. That's pretty smart, verse. Graven Ashe. Speak no more of these lies. I would not have them poisoning the air of Iron Hearth and the ears of my fellow countrymen. You are a fool if you think I'd believe such an obvious ruse. Ashe regards you with uncertainty, his eyes searching for truth or contradiction. I was forced to kill her. You did what? I was prepared for your jest or evasion, but I hear none of it in your voice. I had felt a disruption in my daughter's bond, to have fallen by your hand. The Archon's fist squeezed so hard that you can hear his gauntlets buckle under the strain. Shatterer of houses and defiler of families, only by the will of Kairos could you leave this fortress with your life. I will break you in ways unimaginable by even the voices of Narut. What I inflict will redefine the boundaries of cruelty. Verse. He's about to blow up like the walls of Sentinel's Stand. Keep your weapon ready, Binder. Her baby needed to die to end the edict. I had no choice. She was standing in my way. I did everything I could to help her. Her baby needed to die to end the edict. I had no choice. So, you pretend that you severed my bloodline in the name of duty. If you don't know the meaning of restraint or of responsibility, then you have no business. Then you have no business. I think that's a bit of a typo. Associating with my decorated legion. Would that I simply drowned you upon your arrival at the Apex Valley and spared myself this grief. What am I to do with you, Fatebinder? Or shall I call you sower of atrocities? I would be within my rights to end your life here and now, but losing the favour of Tunon might prove a crippling setback to the war. In all my centuries, I have never stood such an impasse. You haven't forgotten that this is a war, then. Amelia was one casualty of thousands. Amelia died a traitor's death. You have no one to blame but yourself. You defied Kairos in your day. You set the example for her. She lived and died by her own choices. Oh, I'm definitely going law. You have no one to blame but yourself. You defied Kairos in your day. You set the example for her. How dare you drag my past into this? As if more death could heal the rift you opened under my legion. Ash squeezes his eyes shut and exhales forcefully through his nostrils. But you are correct. Anyone who judged me by my disobedient youth would call me a poor example for a father, not to mention a general. There is a good reason for Kairos to name my forces disfavoured. I could never have expected how my choices would reflect in Amelia. There you go. Telling the truth. She would be given all the proper rights that a northern soldier deserves, nothing more or less. My daughter is dead, and this is no wound that time could heal. Take this lesson if nothing else, Fatebinder. An Archon's lifespan is a burden and curse beyond all mortal reckoning. Family, country, loyalty, the things that truly matter, that are made to last, they too will crumble and die in their course. What is it you require? Farewell. Alright, law +1. Yeah, well, that went better than I thought it would. Okay, so... alright, well, I apparently need to say I return disfavoured, favour 2. Ashe stares into space and worries his beard with both hands. The reflexive action seems to bring him comfort, though the ferocity of his gesture strikes you as unhealthy. Archon. He blinks and turns to you with a look of recognition. Ashe clears his throat and sets his stance in a composed, confident manner. Fatebinder, I hope you come with good tidings. Iron Hearth may be our home in the tears, but my heart longs for the north. He puts on a broad smile, and there's Lining of concern about it. You look distracted for a moment there. I wish to discuss the war. Very good. I look forward to hearing of your exploits out in this dreadful wilderness, and if you require anything from me, don't hesitate to ask. I return from Sentinel's stand. The seat of regents and the tarnished gem of stalwart. I've anticipated this, so tell me, what do you have to report? Oh, man, like, this just seems like I'm going over things that, well, it doesn't seem like. I am going over things that we have already discussed. Like that whole conversation about his daughter dying means that fucking Stratus Herodin is dead. Means that the Edict of Storms is ended. Anyway. Stratus Herodin is dead. That is gratifying to hear. The coward spent too long crouched behind the walls of Sentinel's stand and deserved none of Kairos' mercy. The regent family was an inbred and corrupt line of failed rulers. They had neither the courage nor the grit to lead their realm to prosperity. See, like, again, this seems just out of place after the conversation that we just had. And I breathed fresh air for the first time since I returned to Iron Hearth. You managed to accomplish what my forces could not. More importantly, you have abated Kairos' anger for the time being. With the great stalemate of the conquest ended, surely we have earned the favour of Tunon and Kairos alike. Every deed you accomplish in the name of the disfavoured proves our right to rule these lands. Ashe balls a fist and enthusiastically pumps it in the air. How did it feel, Fatebinder? I have not had the distinction of breaking an edict, much less several. It felt less like breaking a spell, more like absorbing it. I am toying with powers of which I know little. If it's all the same, I'll keep my feelings on the matter to myself. Glare silently. As tight-lipped as ever, I see. I won't press the matter, but you can be assured that your recalcitrance is noted. Your actions of Vendrian's well have caused us all to expect more than you were ever prepared to shoulder as a legal clerk. Living up to your admittedly high expectations will do more than merely get you through this war. There are greater things to come once the dust settles, so what are our next steps? The Bladegrave region is now controlled by the disfavoured. First things first, my soldiers reported on your activities in the Bladegrave. They saw what happened when you broke the Edict of Storms. The power of this edict flowed through you like the wind. No one could account for it, but I have my suspicions. You are becoming powerful, perhaps in ways I don't even understand. I can't explain it, but when I break edicts or access spies, I feel stronger. Law 53. There's a connection between edicts and what happened at Ascension Hall. I'm still putting the pieces together. Something has responded to my activities, that much is clear. You know, I always choose the law, I think. You gain favour with Graven Ashe, you have gained 30 loyal skill experience. I appreciate your honesty and your introspection. Still, you walk a dangerous path. I would not want it to reflect poorly on the Legion. These are tools beyond the ken of people or archons alike. Take care that you don't overstep your bounds. In Kairos' hierarchy, someone always notices. With that out of the way, let us return to the matter of the war. Our position in the tiers is strengthening by the day, but there is work still to be done. It is time to broaden our scope in this war. There are 2 regions of interest, and either of them would strengthen our hold on the realm. Lethians Crossing is home to merchants and the skilled forge-bound artisans. The Burning Library was the home of all knowing sages before Kairos reduced it to cinders. I will head to Lethians Crossing. You have gained favour with Graven Ashe. Since you were kind enough to leave the crossing in the hands of my legion after your stint as governor, I think you should find the settlement most accommodating. The Forgebound are critical for keeping Chorus's forces armed, and we should work to shield them from the trials of this war. A Forgebound master is making her way to Lethians Crossing right now. Her name is Zedenya. It would be best to intercept her first. If we recognize the value of her and her fellow artisans, then others will inevitably arrive at the same conclusion. An elder lives in one of the settlement's meager hovels. Eldian, they call him. He may know more about the region. Farewell. Alright, so we just gained another level. We've got 2 level ups versus falling a little bit behind here. Alright. We gotta go spell strength, don't we? We just gotta keep going spell strength with her. And Grave Light. Let's keep going Grave Light. So what do we got? Lift the target in the air and violently throw them back to the ground, dealing crush damage. Grants a bonus to magic defense. Grants a bonus to control Gravelight skill and Gravelight damage at night. Ebb suspends the target in midair. They can only be hit by ranged attacks and cannot attack, move, or be stunned or knocked down. Grants bonus lore and additional spell slots. Let's go with that one for now. Alright. Blades of Iron. Forgebound Master is currently in Lethians Crossing, the settlement at the base of the Sunset Spire. Okay. Yeah, well, that's where we're headed. Alright. Oh, no. Keep on thinking that the entrance is down here, but it's not. It is not. Let's talk to this guy. Welcome back. Okay, nothing for now. Let's just get the fuck out of Dodge. Yes. Alright, Lethians Crossing. Now, the bastard city. Lethians Crossing is lie down here somewhere, isn't it? Where is it? Okay, I am lost. Show map note. Here we go. Yes, Lethians Crossing. Come on. It's the bastard city. Where the fuck am I going? Am I stupid? I think I'm stupid. Just wait. Give me a sec. Alright, so I'm going to the Sunset Spire. There we go, Lethians Crossing. Okay, accept. Let's go there. And we should get a missive back fairly soon, I'm guessing. Surely. Right. Jesus. Some serious fucking shit happening here.
Sorry, can't.
Just wait. I haven't been here for a long time. Zedenya can be found at the Forgebound Foundry, known simply as the Forge. It is located east of the river on the first tier of the Moonrise district. Have I been here before? I do not know. There is much to see. Merchant's boots. Yes, and we have a missive. What do we got here? So what have we been saying? Oh, Chinon. I appreciate the insight and I'm honoured by your vote of confidence. Your missive made mention of Graven Ashe and how you've known him since before the war. Can you tell me more about what you observed? Okay, here we go. This is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power, and my long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ashe. He will always be merely Ashe to me. Before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that backhanded title. As a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen of the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ashe was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest, and if you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ashe's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted away, from them by Ashe's presence. A careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later. As that bond grew, and more importantly, as his legend grew. That legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. So in Ashe's case, he had some early inkling of a power, the ability to assuage, the burdens of his men. And as he took on a mantle of power and became known all around Terratus as the next Archon of War, it too became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it. Foster fear. Foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Myothus. Inquire about Bledenmark's killings. Dear Myothus, your wisdom on the matter is greatly appreciated. You made mention of Bledenmark and his killings. During my training, Fatebinder Kaleo hinted that much of Bledenmark's work involves killing off threats before they blossom into genuine problems. So it's curious to hear you second that fact. So let's say, for the sake of argument, I am some Archon. Is it just a matter of time until Bledenmark is sent to kill me? Should I be making grand displays of loyalty to the court to assuage suspicions? Send it. Alright, questions of balance. Fatebinder. I suspect I need never again impress upon you the gravity of our role in the Overlord's great work. One can condemn a man who murders for a few rings with a clean conscience. More difficult by far is recognition of the need to end the life of a mother and child. I do not envy your assignment. I imagine that whatever demeanor he adopts, the Archon of War will remember your choice until one of you finds your way to the void. I hope you soon make an effort to join us at court in the bastard city. I often feel that it has been too long since we last whispered of the darker corners of Terratus. You've experienced so many of them as of late. Perhaps I can provide an illumination. Okay. So he wants us back at the bastard city. He had to go through the bastard city to get here, did we not? Due to the frequency of raids, the bridges and ramps at Lethians Crossing can be raised to provide safe places. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, take all the belongings. No, okay, so we can go in there. I can't help with anything, Fatebinder. Yeah, well, that much is apparent. What we got up here? We got another door that we can go through.
Sorry, can't.
Again, that much is fucking known.
Interesting.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got some cheese and we got indigo and turquoise. Those are so often things that you keep in the same place. You know, just some cheese and some precious stones or minerals. What do we got in here? A settler. This wall appears to have been damaged years ago, but was never properly repaired. Let's just go in and fucking take some shit, you know what I mean? Alright, yeah, we'll take a bow. We'll take some braces. The old walls are dangerous, I wouldn't recommend going inside. Wow. So we just step in and steal their shit and they're just like, don't go in the old walls. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. Alright, so... So that was that one. Let's go down the tiers in turn, I suppose. Oh no, we can't. We gotta go down here now. Who's this? Hate stench of human dead place, burned snout is bitter like bile. Yeah, fair call. Alright, we got some healing potions. You destroyed my property. Fatebinder, a moment of your time. A travesty of the highest order has been levelled upon me, and I beseech you to rectify this atrocity. The disfavoured soldier scoffs. Travesty, beseech, atrocity. What's with the sudden rise in station, Cressina? Are we trying to impress the Fatebinder? You're a glorified slave who punctuates every sentence by counting them off on his fingers. You haul iron, you stoke the fires in the forge, you clean up after the real forge bound. No one cares about you, so don't bother the Fatebinder with your meaningless problems. Like you're any better, a mere soldier with no authority and no control. You do what you're told and that's all you can do. You're as much a slave as I am, but at least I am able to leave if I want. My slavery leads to enormous power, and my problems aren't meaningless. Anyone can ask the Fatebinder to adjudicate their problems. You're just afraid you are going to be found at fault. This is a fascinating debate. But do you have an actual problem for me to hear? Vitus gives Cressina an I told you so look. She's just upset because now she's going to have to do actual work. I saved the people of this town. Cressina's elbows Vitus and steps forward to speak. Cressina levels an accusing finger at Vitus. Or Vitus. He killed out of the way. She was the best hauler we had and was properly broken in. Finally, she did what she was told and was the strongest beast I've ever seen. That animal was dangerous. If I hadn't done what I did, who knows what would have happened. Perhaps I didn't hear you correctly. Out of the way. Before you continue, if I agree to adjudicate, you must both agree to abide by my decision. I'm the enforcer of the Archon of Justice. Once invoked, my ruling is final. Are you sure this is what you want? If you're going to argue in front of a Fatebinder, I'm exercising my right to adjudicate this matter. I'm an enforcer of the Archon of Justice. Of course, I've been wronged and I will have justice. Your decision is law, Fatebinder. I will treat you as such. Tell me what happened to Out of the Way. Out of the Way and I were taking a load of iron from the storehouse to the forge. I forgot the manifest from the housemaster, so I told Out of the Way to wait for me while I went back to get it. When I came back out, there was shouting and I knew something was wrong. I ran back to where I'd left Out of the Way and I could hear someone taunting her, calling her a mindless animal and other terrible things. Then I heard shouting and screaming. When I rounded the corner, Vetus was running her through. She gives Vetus a sour look and spits at him. Vetus laughs. Really, Christina? Don't you think you're leaving out a little of the story? To Vetus, tell me what happened to Out of the Way. Vetus shoots Christina a look gladly, and I'll make sure you get the whole story. Christina opens her mouth, but Vetus holds up a hand and smiles. My turn. Now, I'm not denying what Christina said, but she left off a critical piece of information. I was making my usual rounds, ensuring, like all dedicated disfavoured do, that peace is kept under my eye. I had just finished a pass and was about to head back to the hall when I heard a commotion. Shouting, growling, something falling over, and then screaming. When everyone came into view, I saw Out of the Way standing over someone with her claws raised and the rest of the onlookers cowering away from her. I shouted at her to stop, and she turned to look at me with an insane look in her eyes. She turned back and went to swing, so I rushed her and did what I had to do. I put down a crazed animal who was a danger to everyone in town. I feel no remorse for the action. I do not deny it, and I would do it again if it meant keeping Lethians Crossing safe. If a townsperson was attacked, why aren't they here to present their testimony? Yes. Christina drops her head and looks to the side. Well, Vetus laughs. Not as eager to tell the gory details, are you? He shakes his head. There isn't a townsperson, at least not anymore. I wasn't fast enough to respond to the disturbance. Out of the Way had already killed and gutted him by the time I arrived. Of course, I didn't know he was already dead when I ran her through. But that wouldn't have changed anything. She was crazed and I did what I could to stop her from hurting anyone else. I could have stopped her. She always listened to me, most of the time. Christina pushes Vitus. You killed my best beast of burden. It's going to take forever to train another one, and you're going to pay for time and wages lost because of it. What are you looking for as recompense? You say Out of the Way was provoked. Yes, the people of Lethians Crossing can be ruthless. Yes, she's just an animal, but she wasn't their property. By your own admission, you don't see what happened until it was over. How do you know she was provoked? Ooh, he's got you there, Christina. Let's see how you tried to talk your way out of this one. I already told you that I heard people calling her a mindless animal and other horrible epithets. I didn't need to see the action or to know what was happening. Sorry, Christina, but that's just not good enough. She could have been already attacking someone and that's what prompted the yelling. Plus, she's a filthy beast. Well, was, sorry. He smiles. It's not like anything they said was untrue. The truth of their statement is irrelevant to what happened. You didn't see it either, genius. You don't know what happened any more than I do. She stops and turns red as Vitus laughs again. That doesn't change the fact you killed my beast, man. That's what we're discussing here. Alright. What are you looking for as recompense? Like I said before, I want his rings. He's going to pay for everything I'm missing out on because he can't control himself. I want payment for time and wages lost because my deliveries will take longer and all the work I will lose training a new beast man. To Vetus. No. I have heard enough and I'm ready to make my decision. Do either of you have any final words? Vitus opens his mouth, but Christina steps in front of him. He destroyed my property and has cost me my income. He needs to pay for that. There was a danger to the town and I took care of it. I don't understand why we're even debating this. It was a stupid animal that was going to snap eventually. Now we don't have to worry anymore. Ask Christina for a bribe. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Christina gets my favour in this matter. Out of the way might have been dangerous, but Vitus acted rashly. Vitus is in the right. Out of the way may have been provoked, but Vitus did what was needed to protect the town, to both of them. You are both in the wrong. Christina will get nothing from Vitus, and Vitus will buy supplies and give them to the local forge bounders payment. This is interesting. The forge bounder mage smith sworn to Kyros's service. The other operations in the tiers are overseen by Tyranny and his squad of fate binders. Each forge bound uses magic as a tool to augment their personal craft. This is an interesting one. Having a beast man chieftain in my pool of characters, I'm going to say Christina gets my favour in this matter. Christina smiles and pokes Vitus in the shoulder. I told you I would make you pay for what you did, and I was right. Justice is served today. If you want to get technical, Christina, it was the fate binder that made me pay, not you. And I suggest you watch yourself. I am still the law in this town. Be careful where you poke your finger. We will discuss my payment when I'm done with my patrols. He salutes you. Good day to you, fate binder. There you go. Always must work. Cannot rest. Tired. Pause. Yeah. No, fair call. Alright. What's in here? Ooh. Master of casting. Master of tempering. Master of the forge. Here we go. Master of the fate binder is here. Zdenya, Master of the Forge. Zdenya turns and approaches you, her lithe body moving fluidly as she walks. She stops before you, her stance solid and sure, but you see she is standing lightly on her feet, ready to move if necessary. She never takes her eyes off you, but you know she is acutely aware of her surroundings. Oh, this chick. Fate Binder. May the fires of your forge never cool. She salutes you. I had hoped our paths would cross. Word has reached my ears of your hand in removing the Edict of Storms from Sentinel Stand Keep. She nods to you in a small salute. That was no small feat. I would ask how you did it, but I'm sure you have many important things to talk about. In my years leading the Forge Bound, I have never heard a Fate Binder accomplishing something of such a significance. It is an honour to meet someone of such distinguished deeds. What can this servant of the flame do for you? Why have you come to Lethians Crossing? What an odd question, Fate Binder. When you showed up in the forge, I thought you had been sent to check up on me. As my mission came directly from Tunon, shouldn't you already know? I was tasked with creating an artifact to protect the Forge Bound from the Bane. We have been delayed too often and lost too many of our own, so it was decreed that something must be done. I created the Mage Bane Helm to keep the Bane at bay. Once the helm is in place, its magic will keep the Bane locked away inside the old walls. Alright, our goals are the same. I was sent to ensure the Forge Bound can continue making weapons for the disfavoured. Why did you create a helm? Why did the Forge Bound stay here if the Bane is such a threat? Why were you asked to create this item? Couldn't any Forge Bound here do it? Was sent to ensure all is well with the forge bound. Everything seems in order here. I will take my leave. Why did you create a helm? The forge bound are crafters of weapons and armour, Fatebinder, not statues and baubles. I make what I know. It is also portable and can be moved easily or used in battle should its protection be needed elsewhere in the future. For the time being, though, it will remain here, protecting the forge bound. We have a job to do and cannot do it properly if we are constantly assaulted by outside forces. Alright. You know what? I was sent to ensure all is well with the forge bound. Everything seems in order. As you wish, Fatebinder. I was just on my way to place the helmet. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like you to join us. The settlers have created a spot on the 3rd tier. I will meet you there. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Eldian, the sunburnt man, dips his head in greeting. An outsider never arrives alone. At least, that is what my mother always said. Seems she knew what she was talking about. He nods thoughtfully at his own words. I'm Eldian. Welcome to Lethians Crossing. Well, if it isn't Tunon's Fatebinder, welcome back to the crossing. Haven't seen you around here since you put the disfavored in charge of everything. Eldian looks you over. Must say my memory seems to be failing. It's something I'd never thought I'd say. He winks. The way people talk about how you came through and drove the Brotherhood out of town. You should be 10 feet tall and shoot lightning from your eyes. Lightning bolts from his arse. I seem to remember you being a little more human. Can't always tell the content of a pie from its crust though, can you? Thankfully, the disfavored haven't been too bad. At least you didn't choose the Scarlet Chorus to be our overlords. But enough of my prattling. You didn't come here for a history lesson or to get my opinion of your grandeur. He waves his hand dismissively at his previous comments. The Adjudicator sent you here for the Archon of Song, I assume. What can you tell this old fool to do for you? What was that about the Archon of Song? Siren, the songbird, feels like it's half the town she's got mooning over her in that hovel near the river. It's on the 1st tier. If you want to find her, is Brownitz. Feel free to take her with you when you go. He cans his head slightly, banishing his sour expression. But seeing as you're not here for her, what can I do for you? Can I ask you some questions about Lethians Crossing? If you have questions about our settlement, I'm the one to ask. I have the dubious distinction of being the oldest living resident of Lethians Crossing, so I've been here for a lot of its history. Eldian smiles. Eyes, hips, hair, and hearing might be failing, but my mind still remembers everything that happened here. What would you like to know about? I'll do my best not to go on too long about it. I know I have a problem keeping my conversations short. I'd like to ask you about the crossing's history. What can you tell me about the Spire in Lethians Crossing? Tell me about your thoughts on the Bronze Brotherhood. Tell me what you think about the Disfavored. How have your interactions with the Scarlet Chorus been? Pretty sure I'm going to need directions around here. I have other questions. What can you tell me about the Spire? Eldian shakes his head. Sometimes I wonder why Lethian thought it was a good idea to settle here. We already had a Bane problem before the Forgebound set up here. Now that they're using the crossing as one of their main forges, the Bane issue is even worse. Since the Bane are drawn to magical energy, you have to be on constant alert for them escaping. How did you seal the door? Will you let me into the old walls? I'm afraid that's a risk I'm not willing to take, Fatebinder. Once the doors are unsealed, there's a good chance Bane will flood into Lethians Crossing. As much as I would love to help you, I can't endanger the town like that. How did you seal the door? I obtained a keystone that can be used to open or seal the door. One of Kairos' soldiers found it while they were looking for a way to seal the doors to keep the bane from escaping. The sealed door is only a temporary measure though. It holds the bane back for now, but it won't last for much longer. That is why Tunon instructed Zedenya to create an artifact to protect Lethians Crossing from the bane. Let me ask you something else. I have other questions. I'll be on my way. Of course. I must go to the spire to make sure everything is ready. I'll meet you there when Zendaya is ready to place the artifact. Cool. Zendaya. Zedenya. Alright. And we've got some plans.
That wasn't so hard.
Oh. Forge bound hammer, one-handed. It's pretty crazy. Alright, let's take that. New Spire Forge plan available, yep. These worn iron weapons look as if they've been recently repaired and being ready to ship. Alright, yeah, fair call. Some hide. This armor is newly made by the forge bound. It's still warm to the touch. It's hot. Don't touch it. That's bloody good advice, that is. Lahora, Master of Tempering. A muscular woman stands upright from her forge and turns to look at you. The light of the fire playing across her face, making her eyes dance dangerously. Toothy smile breaks across your mouth, the only bright spot on her soot-stained face. Do you kill with your left hand or your right? She rubs blackened palms together, eyeing you expectantly. Normally I can tell at a glance, but you're a little harder to read. Glare at her. Why would you like to know? Is that how they say hello in your hometown, left or right? Glare at her. Draped in loose-fitting linens, a heavy canvas smock and a layer of sweaty film, the middle-aged woman is like a living display of soot stains, burns and scar tissue. Beneath the soot on her head is skin that rarely sees the touch of the sun. White teeth vanish behind a scowl. Right or left? Right or left? Left. Noted. She grips her belt and cinches it, rattling the picks, awls and pliers that dangle from various hooks. I'm Lahora, Master of Tempering and Forge Master of Lethians Crossing. My tasks exceed hours left in the day, but there is no harm in pausing my work if it means speaking with the Honourable Fatebinder. Oh, I've gained favour with the Forgebound. Nice. I must say, denying both the Disfavoured and the Scarlet Chorus of extra weapons was pretty brave of you. I expect the Chorus to offer a bribe, but the Disfavoured? If they would stoop to those tactics, who knows what else they are capable of. When Disfavoured and Scarlet Chorus officers appealed to you for access to Ironforged weapons, you disciplined them for attempting to bribe a representative of the court. Iron production went on as expected with no special dispensations for anyone. Fuck yes, it's coming back to help me here. How may I be of assistance? Why did you want to know if I kill with my right hand or left hand? The gauntlet is the hardest piece of the panoply and the most rewarding to work. So many scales of so many different sizes, and there's the rivets. She slides her thumb and fingers together, shedding flecks of soot and iron dust. I imagine you see a lot of battle in your line of work. One gauntlet is invariably going to wear before the other. My mind is always thinking of what will need repairs first. It's as simple as that. I like her. Can you make something for me? Can. She lifts an eyebrow. Most certainly. Will. Well, Kairos invented cues for a reason. She lets slip a sigh. I have every Iron Walker and every Scarlet Chorus ringleader sending me bribes and flattery in hopes that I will work off schedule and make them some special this or one of a kind of that. Her mouth moves as if to speak, but falls silent, folding her arms. Subterfuge 48. I did not realise the request was so thoughtless. My apologies. Bang, you got to use, whenever you have the ability to use one of these like special skills, you got to do it. Gain favour with the Forge Bound. You gain 9 subterfuge spill. I get unreasonable demands every day, but it is not the volume, it's the purpose. She lowers her voice to a near whisper and steps closer to you. I do resent that Kairos demands reduce our work to mere quotas. I should be allowed to customize my work for every soldier. Only apprentices have anything to learn from making the same size helmet again and again. Forget I asked. Leave. I must be going. Alright. We got some forge bound apprentices here. If you need anything, speak to Lahora. She's the one in charge, yes. Ulantis, Master of Casting. I think I'm going to finish off in here once I talk to these guys. Seems like a good place to finish the episode before we move on to anything too story driven. And plus, I'm a fitter and turner by trade. I froth on this sort of stuff. I would have loved to have been a blacksmith in the day. I think it would have been great work. Anyway. Ulantis, Master of Casting. Ulantis surveys the room with an air of superiority. He addresses you without making eye contact. Is there something you want? Forge-bound supply cache is now unlocked on the world map. Cool. Ulantis catches the stare of Lahora, who beams at him expecting something to occur. Ulantis sighs dejectedly before turning his attention back to you with a strange smile. Forgive me, Fatebinder. Lahora instructed me to reward you for your aid during the conquest. The conscripted beast men helped us forge countless iron materials, and in return, I am to show you the location of a supply cache. Ulantis takes your map in his hands and circles a small clearing. So, the production of iron arms and armour in Lethians Crossing needed to increase, and as governor, the decision of how to handle it fell to you. You allowed the Scarlet Chorus to conscript beastmen to the task of hauling iron ore. Some felt that exposing beasts to the secret of iron forging went against tradition, but you were willing to accept the risk. Nice. It's paid off. What do you do here in the forge? I keep things running smoothly. Upkeep mostly. He smiles coyly. I am also second in command to Lahara, sorry. So in case anything ever happens to her, I'm here to take charge. Is there a problem? His eyes carefully watch Lahara as he answers you. Yes, but these are forge-bound matters. Nothing that concerns the High Court of Tunon, I assure you. Alright. That sounds fair. So, let's leave here. And I think that's going to be the end of the episode. Alright, so, that was a really cool episode. What did we do? We talked to Graven Ashe. Did we talk to Graven Ashe in this episode, or was that the last episode? We talked to Graven Ashe. We made some decisions. We sided with a beastman, or with a slave over a disfavored. We learned that there's a helm that's being made to help against the Bane. I wonder if that's going to be an item that we can take into our possession later. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you would have done differently. Let me know what you think I should do. Tell me a joke. I don't care. Comments are cool, and I would like to respond to them. Please like the video if you like what I'm up to here, and consider subscribing if you would like to join me for some other gaming adventures. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, different kinds of game each time, and I also release my Let's Play series on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. At least mostly I do when I have the opportunity to do some recording. So anyway, never stop loving life. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, night, morning, whatever it is. See ya.